Hi. So, I've been hearing about the immigration and stuff band, and I think that it's not very nice. Not such a good idea. Um, and it sucks a lot. Um, Columbus State Community College, they did a pretty good thing, and they set aside extra funding for immigrant students to help them since they can't go back home and they're having a really tough time not being able to interact with their families like they should be able to. And no one should feel cut off from their families like that and forced to abandon people that they care about. And that really sucks, especially to better themselves. You shouldn't have to make that choice. You shouldn't have to do it for love, and you shouldn't have to do it for an education or for a better future, for a job. So it sucks that in order to stay here and in order to better their lives, they have to, at least for 4 years, make that sacrifice, and it sucks. And I also seen where, I've read an article about California looking into, I'm not for sure how to pronounce her name, Melania, her immigration papers from where she worked on I guess she had a tourist visa and she wasn't supposed to work. She worked as a model, and so they're looking at revoking her immigration status based on that. I guess just to cause trouble and see what they can do. Now, I'm not usually a fan of fighting fire with fire, but I think it's good for him to understand what people are going through and to kind of get a message across about how worrisome it is for some people. The fact that he himself he's never had to worry about being deported, but it is a concern for his wife, and her English is a second language. She cannot explain the fears to him, and he is such a strong-willed, strong-minded individual, well-spoken, well-educated. He can probably pull some big words out of his ass when he wants to confuse her and probably frustrate the hell out of her. So it's probably hard for her to communicate her fears on the immigration side of things. So, and, he probably thinks she went through things the right way. She got her visas and stuff the correct way, and it's embarrassing and it's scary to admit that, yeah, you didn't 100% do things correctly, especially to a guy who has a lot of powerful friends who is so anti-immigration to begin with, yeah, you're going to admit that you yourself didn't do everything 100% correctly. That's really scary, you know, especially when you're in love with someone. You stand to lose everything if he found out. So, it's sad though that she has to worry about whether or not she's going to be taken from her child and deported to another country. And sure, he's president, so he has a couple tricks up his sleeve that he can do for a few years, but he's not president forever. He'll need popular opinion to change that, and he doesn't have that right now. So, but I guess my final word on everything is that you can't change things and you can't stop terrorism by blocking it out. You can't stop terrorists by ignoring it and blowing it up and killing it. You can't stop terrorists by dividing and conquering. That's not how it works. The terrorists are people. They are made. They're not born. Every terrorist, just like every gang, just like every group, just like every clique, just like every family, just like every faction, just like every unit, every department, every office, every title, every type. It's just, it starts off with needing a place, needing someone to understand you. It starts off with feeling lonely, feeling left out. And it's sad, but a lot of people, especially with the internet, you can connect with a lot of people. But unfortunately, with being behind the screen right here, you can also be faceless, you know? You can choose to hide. You can choose fake profiles and fake pictures and fake names and to never show your face, to never let your voice be heard, to plagiarize everything you say, and to never be unique, and to harass people and make them feel worthless and humiliated and self-conscious and disgusting and alone, and to make them just seek out anyone who will just make them feel loved. And as parents, you want so badly your kid to be normal. You want them to be just happy and to succeed, and or just to get by, and I don't know, just not to cause you trouble. Not to get a phone call from school saying something. I don't, but that you like just put so much pressure on your kid, and your kid just feels like they can't do anything right, or your husband or wife or sister or brother or friend or whoever. Most of the time, when you're insecure, when you feel like you have to live up to someone else's standards, you feel like you are judged by everyone around you, and that everyone around you is a reflection of you. And so they all have to live up to someone else's standards. And thus, they all need to be perfect, too. So, you pick and peck at them. And that causes them to break down. And it causes you to never fix the things you are insecure about. And that causes them to withdraw from you and withdraw from everyone else, and to go seek out people who will prop them up and tell them what they want to hear and use them for whatever purpose. And sometimes those purposes aren't too good. Most of the times those purposes are just for money, drugs, whatever, you know. Those things are bad, but in the grand scheme of things, not too bad, considering there's terrorists out there, which no one wants people to die, and especially no one wants people to die killing a bunch of people. But it happens, I guess. And it happens a lot, unfortunately. The older I get, the more it seems to be happening. So, I just feel if we just, instead of treating who we view might be future terrorists as future terrorists, instead, if we treat them as our children, because they are probably our children, because we are so focused on stopping the terrorists that we are ignoring our children, and they are so lonely and scared that they are turning to whoever is paying attention to them. And those people are so mad at being labeled as terrorists that they are going a little bit crazy and probably becoming terrorists. So, just be nicer to people and try to talk to them and understand their frustrations. And from that, you'll become a better person and make this world a better place. And remember, we are all children of this earth, and we'll all go back to this earth when we die and be reborn from it.